Welcome to episode 194 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. Today, Adrian and I talk about the last 3 things we did in our own homes. Hope you enjoy.
Today's topic, last 3 things you did to my house. No, last 3
things I did to your house or in your house.
It's been a long day. It's only not even noon. Last 3 things we did to our individually owned properties. Go.
Last 3 things you did to your house.
And I don't mean like when you cut the grass last, but like what was the last update or upgrade or renovation?
Well, I'm doing one right now. It's changing the pendant lights in our kitchen.
Okay. And so you had, when did you do it last?
10 years ago.
Okay. So the cycle for you as of right now is a decade.
10 years ago, yeah.
Is it a style thing, or are they not working properly?
Yeah, no, style thing.
Are you changing the style of the rest of the kitchen, or you just don't like the lights anymore?
Undecided. Don't like those lights anymore.
Okay.
10 years ago, so they're, I don't know if you remember, they're glass cylindrical style in a smoky gray with a cone insert that's white.
Yeah.
And the light illuminates the cone, and it's...
Is the bulb built in?
No.
Is it halogen, or is it CFL, or is it LED? What have you got in there?
The most recent bulb was a warm, I want to say a 2700K LED bulb.
Okay.
That wasn't the original. The original was a halogen bulb, which I preferred, the way the light looked.
Yeah.
But those fixtures, those pendants were nice 10 years ago. They're just outdated now.
And for the record, you're contemplating moving potentially.
Correct. So
are some of these things you're doing based on that premise?
Yeah.
Would you be doing the lights now if you weren't planning to potentially move?
Probably not.
All right.
Probably not. Although, I'll caveat that because I've hated those lights now for a couple of years. Just didn't want to spend the money or effort in changing them because they're still nice. Like, most people will come into the house and say, oh, look, you have a nice kitchen. But to me, actually what triggered it, one of the bulbs went out.
Right.
I ordered the replacement bulb on Amazon just for convenience purposes, and the price was the same as in Lowe's or Home Depot, so I ordered it through Amazon. I got it. It's the right bulb type.
Yeah.
But the length of the bulb stuck out from the bottom of the fixture a little bit.
Oh, that'd be funny looking.
Yeah, it looked funny. So I had to replace... And if you replace one bulb, like we have 3 pendants. So if you replace one bulb, you got to do them all. Otherwise, the color temperature always changes. As bulbs age, the temperature changes a bit on them, right? So if I'm going to replace all the bulbs, and now, obviously, we're preparing to move in the next 12-ish months. So what triggered it was the pendants that we installed at 887 Broussard Circle.
Oh, right.
I quite liked those. And they're very affordable. I think they were $70 a piece.
Yeah.
Having the same issues, though, if you remember when I installed the ones at
the
Broussard.
glass wasn't formed properly. It was like a little cockeyed or something.
I don't know if it's... I think it's because of the actual cord, like the wire, which has like
it's like a mesh or whatever.
Yeah.
Got it.
So there's 2 screws, one at the top, one at the bottom, and when you screw them in, it kind of warps that wire.
You should almost have one on each side so you could do it equally.
Right, exactly. But you get what you pay for, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it looks great. So modernizing it a bit. So that's already done while I've installed one of them. There's 2 more to be installed, which I actually plan on doing tonight. So
good.
So there you go. There's one of mine.
Well, one of mine, it was a minor one, but along the same lines, we replaced every bulb in the house with LED bulb.
Oh, interesting.
Minor, easy to do. We have pot lights on our main floor. So on the ground floor, with the exception of the bathroom, which still had halogen bulbs, and the pendant lights, which actually they are still halogen bulbs. They're like the Edison style. Everything else in the house was just traditional CFL or halogen light bulbs. So we went on, I'm always looking for deals. So I found on Amazon a couple bulk boxes of it, ordered them all in and replaced all the bulbs. Alicia beforehand had random ones throughout the house, but she had been buying 2,700K when the rest of the lights are about closer to 3,000. And I like the light from 3,000. I feel like it's bright, but it's not blue yet.
Right.
And it provides good lighting. So we swapped out everything. Now the whole house is consistent. I love it. It's nice.
Natalie was actually complaining to me that that's one of the things she hates about our house right now is all of the light fixtures and bulbs that I installed are not bright enough.
Right.
So it's trying to find that balance. I think most of them are 2,700K or just a bad fixture that doesn't give off good light.
Yeah. Well, and not even just the wrong fixture for that space.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's hard because you buy a fixture, especially if you buy it online, but even in the store, by the time you bring it home and you put it in the place and you're like,
well, the one gauge is always how many. I always look at how many, so what you're usually replacing something. So how many bulbs does the current light fixture have and what wattage are they? And if that's an adequate source of light, then you try to match that or do more, but never go less.
Right.
So a lot of people look and they'll find a light that they love and they buy it. And we'd see this with people preparing the homes.
Oh, we see it all the time. How many times you go into a bedroom and it's got one bulb?
Yeah, or we'll give a client a staging report that says replace this fixture with this one. But then they're like, oh, I found the exact same thing for $50 less. Meanwhile, they didn't realize it was one bulb less.
You know what I love is when they get our report and our recommendations. We even tell them in person.
Yes.
Then they go to Costco and get one of those
completely
built-in LED,
they're
5,000K daylight
Yeah.
lights and install it. And they're so proud and think it looks great. And we walk in and we're like, oh, why'd you do that?
Yeah. So I think those lighting, something we recommend for everybody selling their house, upgrade your light fixtures, good return. But also we're doing it well in advance, for me, probably well in advance of moving, because it's just makes it more enjoyable. It's nicer.
Okay. You can go on with a second.
Most of mine revolve around home automation. So right now, well, I'm actively, and I think you are too, we just cross paths. So Ariel lives next door, for those of you watching and listening. And Ariel walked into his porch, onto his porch a couple days ago. You were on your porch and you were holding
the lock set.
The lock set for your front door. So that's one thing I'm doing on the whole main floor. Our front doors, it started from our front doors, double doors. The locks, the latches to open are terrible. Like you have to really squeeze the latch down, pull it.
Oh, they're 12 years old now.
Push it forward to open it. Yeah. And so that's bothered us. So our plan was to paint the front door anyways, because it's in dire need of it. At the same time, I said, well, let's replace the door handles and the locks. And I said, well, then we're going to have black door handles. On the one set of doors, we've got a garage door, a side door, and a back door that are all relatively visible from any given space in the house on the main level.
Right.
So I want them to be all consistent. So we bought new door handles everywhere. The garage door and the front door got Wi-Fi, fingerprint, Wiser locks. So it's already installed on the garage door, and we've had a lot of use, and it's nice. Every time somebody unlocks the door, I get notified. You can tell Google, hey, Google, lock the garage door, or hey, Google, unlock the garage door, or hey, Google, what's the status of the garage door?
So what is that, through Alexa?
It works through Google and Alexa.
Do your kids have access to that?
Yeah.
So they're going to start unlocking the doors.
Yeah. Well, they can do it anyways manually, and we've programmed their fingerprints.
Okay.
So they can come and go as they please. send them down the street to pick something up.
Right. At least you get notified now.
Yeah, exactly. And when they use their fingerprint, it says, Adrian opened the door or Tessa opened the door.
Right.
So, yeah. You?
What else have I done recently? Are we talking like it could be maintenance things too?
Sure.
Or,
yeah.
So this is something that you actually asked me. One of the last things I've done maintenance-wise was, well, there's two things, but I replaced the motor in our ice maker.
Oh, right.
In the fridge.
Yes.
Because so we have what's called a French door, side by side. I think, what do they?
Oh,
they
French
call it
door, bottom freezer.
No.
Oh no! Oh, it's side by side.
Side by side.
Yeah, right.
So our fridge is on the right side, the freezer's on the left side.
Yeah.
And the reason I got that was because I heard a lot of, at that time, so this was now 12 years ago when I bought it, the ice makers that, like in those French door, my bad.
Not cold enough.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing.
In the French door fridges that have the ice maker built in, the ice is actually stored in the door itself. So
it's probably insulated, but it's still in the door.
Yeah. So first of all, it takes up a lot of space in your fridge.
Right.
And the fridge temperature is not cold enough to maintain the temperature required to keep ice.
There must be
icy.
There must frozen.
Frozen.
Yes, there must be a pipe going from the freezer bringing more cold air up, or there must
Icy.
be like an auxiliary cooler. But you're still opening and closing the door regularly, so it gets all bunched up into a big solid block and fails.
And if the temperature in your home, let's say in the wintertime, you've got the heat running, you're actually letting warm air into there. So now you can have condensation because there is a hole in that
where the ice
container
goes.
To let the ice into your cup, right? So now you're letting. So, anyways, I bought the side by side because the ice maker and water
always frozen.
It's in the freezer and it's always icy.
So I asked you about it because mine wasn't working.
So mine wasn't working. So I took it apart one afternoon on a Sunday. I decided, okay, I've got some time this morning. Took everything out of the top portion of the freezer, pulled it apart, and took the 4 screws, pulled it all out. So I started with the biggest part of it, which is that, I don't know if you call it a motor or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I think it is.
An auger or whatever.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the auger.
Okay. So
it was the part that
like flip
controls everything, like a whole module.
Oh, okay. Like
call it a module.
Yeah. So mine wasn't broken. You know what it was? I don't know why it had popped out. Maybe it does it when it needs to be replaced, or maybe one of the kids did it, but the water filter had popped out.
Oh, yes, that happens sometimes.
So if that's out, the water system shuts off.
Correct.
So I didn't need one, fortunately.
So how long did that go on for?
Just a week or so until we figured out what it was.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that happened to me once before, too.
Yeah.
How often do you replace the water filter for your... Oh, it's only ice, though. You don't use it for water.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
I know I can tell when I need to do it. Usually once a year is enough. I can usually...
Oh, for sure.
I can tell when the ice... When you first put a brand new one, it tastes different.
Yeah.
And the fresh filter, you get clear, nice ice.
Yeah.
So once a year.
Your third one?
There's a few. I don't know which ones to talk about. Well, one I'm going to do next. Can I talk about one I'm going to? Okay.
No. It's not the point of this podcast.
All right. We've only got a few minutes. I've got a call in 2 minutes. The last one we did upstairs. So we have
stop talking so much.
2-story. Tell me whose audio file is bigger at the end of this, okay? We have a 2-story house. On the second level, we opted for a 3-bedroom configuration, which gave us the loft, for those of you listening. In the loft, it's facing southwest. It gets a lot of sun. It gets super hot up there, even in the winter if the blinds are open. So I wanted to install a ceiling fan. And I'm not just going to throw a ceiling fan up there because there was no fixture. So I'm going to get up there, rewire it. I'm going to go.
This is the quick version.
I'm going to do a good job. So I created a faux wood beam Well, it's not faux wood. It's a real wood beam, but it's hollow. So I guess that's a faux wood beam. It's made of wood. And shiplap along the arched, the angled
I saw the
ceiling.
pictures. Looks nice.
And I went into the attic. I rewired it. We smoothed the flat portion of the ceiling, installed pot lights. It was a big project, but it looks really nice.
For the average homeowner, that's probably not something that a typical person would undertake.
No, probably not.
It looks good, though. Made a big difference.
Thanks. Yeah, I like it. And it's way better. Again, lighting. We added 6 pot lights instead of 2 dinky little fixtures.
Yeah.
And a fan, and the fan's great. The fan works on Wi-Fi, so you can tell your Siri to turn the fan on, and it works great.
That's cool.
And we also have a sensor in that room that detects the temperature and carbon dioxide and stuff. So if it gets too hot or the CO level is too high because there's no airflow, I can turn it on.
Nice. Automatically.
You can I haven't done that. That takes a bit more work, but yes.
My third one, I'll wrap it up real quick for this episode. That was a good one. I don't know if you call it grouting. I regrouted all of the patio in the backyard.
I need to do that.
Yeah, I got the sand.
What's it called? Starts with a P.
Polymeric sand.
Is that it?
Sure.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
So I pressure washed all of the existing sand out.
I was going to do that, but I was worried it would blow out the screening underneath.
No.
Okay.
It didn't. I did it in the areas where it needed to be replaced, and then I topped up the rest. I should have done it I should have pressure washed everything, because the areas that I didn't, the sand that I put on top, it just washed away after anyways. So there are some areas that will need to be redone.
Did you adjust any
Nope, didn't need to be.
Stones that had shifted?
Nope, nothing is at that point yet.
Okay.
It's only 5 years old, so
I have a couple that are slightly wonky, just ever so slightly, that it bothers me.
if we have any that are wonky, I haven't. It's not at the point where I care about it. Like, it still looks
At least now you have no weeds.
a couple pointed through in the last week or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I did.
Great.
Was that the call you were waiting for?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, and these are all things that...
So I just want to explain the quick process, because a lot of people have patios and the grouting is looking like shit. Yeah, you just take a pressure washer, get rid of all the sand that's in there existing currently. Pick up the polymeric sand. You can get different colors. Literally, you just throw the sand down on top, get a good, heavy, thick bristle broom, and broom it in, brush it into those areas.
Yeah.
And then you just want to pound it into the crevices as much as you can, like compact that sand to really get it in there.
You can buy a vibrator.
Yeah.
Those big push vibration.
Or you can rent them.
Or rent them,
You
of
just
course.
friggin' go and
I just
buy
buy
everything.
That I wouldn't, because that you rarely
Tim
need.
the Toolman Taylor over here.
I'm proud of my collection.
I don't know how many people are going to get that reference, if Flo even got that reference. Tim the
Flo,
Toolman
do you know
Taylor.
who Tim is?
Tim the Toolman Taylor. See?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we're that old. Anyways,
Then
so
you water it.
you want to basically, vibrate it right into there.
Yeah.
And then brush again. And then give it a light soaking, not soaking, but water it down.
Yeah. Moisten it.
And
then it solidifies.
and then the next day or so, you don't want to do it around when it's raining.
No. You
Yeah.
need a couple days of sun.
Yeah. And then once it dries out, you can give it a hose down or sweeping, and it looks like new again. So
And if you don't have a pressure washer, or
And
you
it
don't
makes
want, or you don't want to rent one, you can use. Some people will use a scrapers, like some metal handheld scraper.
everybody knows somebody that has a pressure washer. Borrow one.
True.
Makes a huge difference. So if you're thinking of listing your property for sale and you've got a patio like this with the stones of any kind, it's a good thing to do. It really makes it pop, especially if you put some flowers around it, whatever. So
Yeah.
so there you go. That's what I did.
Great. And with the exception of my ceiling, all of these are easy to do. Just a little bit of time. They're
Yeah.
cost efficient.
And
efficient.
easy to search on YouTube on
Yeah.
how-tos.
Well, that's how I do everything now.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
Would love to hear anybody that's watching or listening. Leave a comment. Let us know what were the last 3 things you did around your house.
All right.
Cool. Hope you enjoyed episode 194 of KT Confidential. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment. We'd love to know what were the last 3 things you did in your home.